Hey everybody, how you doing today? Today we're going to talk about the Apple Watch 6. What are the new features? Is it worth upgrading to this thing? And I've got multiple Apple Watches from a Series 2 all the way up through a Series 6. So we're going to talk about whether it's worth upgrading and what you should be doing. What's some of the cool stuff this watch has versus the others. So let's talk about what this watch, what separates it from all the rest. What's better, what's new. All right, so the first thing we've got, one of their big features is the SpO2, the oxygen sensor. So let's talk about an oxygen sensor. So what do you need this oxygen sensor for? What is it? Why is it useful? Why should I care about it? So Apple's been focusing on health. You know, they have this ECG feature that they implemented in the Apple Watch Series 4, and they're improving upon that to add oxygen level. Now, oxygen level on a watch is nothing new. Garmin watches have had this for several years now, so it's not a new feature. So I've actually had a lot of experience with an oxygen sensor because I've been using it on my Garmin watches. So I have a lot of experience testing it out, figuring out when it's useful, when it's not. So let's talk about when it's useful. First, if you were to have coronavirus or any kind of illness, it's very useful to measure your oxygen level. But just remember, because it's useful, you can actually go on Amazon and buy an oxygen finger monitor for anywhere from $15 to $30. So they're pretty inexpensive. They're the same ones used in your doctor's office. So it is useful if you're sick and have breathing problems, have asthma, anything like that. This is a pretty useful feature, especially when you sleep, because it can help diagnose things like sleep apnea and other conditions like that. Where it's really used for exercise and stuff is when you're working out in high altitudes. That's where an oxygen sensor is useful. So is it useful? Kinda, it can be. It's a cool feature. It's gonna be a make or break feature for some people. For other people, they're not even gonna care about the feature at all, because honestly, on my Garmin watches, I don't use the feature whatsoever. It just is something that takes up a lot of battery. So it all depends on the user and you. So if you like that feature, awesome. If not, it might not be something that you're gonna really care about. All right, that's the big feature of the new Apple Watch. Some other cool things that Apple's introduced, but some of these are available on other series. So let's talk about some of these new features, and then let's get into what it's worth upgrading to. All right, so first of all, they introduced sleep. Finally, they have sleep tracking. Though I will say I've tested the sleep tracking extensively, and I'm probably a little more happy with the third-party apps that have been available for years now, and some of them are even free. So you know, sleep tracking's okay. It's great that it's finally there. I just hope they keep working on it. Nothing to lose sleep over, right? It's cool, but not like the best thing in the world. They have watches always on, just like Series 5, always on display, which is awesome. In fact, it's 2.5 times brighter. I can definitely tell a difference between the two, especially in sunlight. So that's awesome. I'm glad Apple's done that. Pretty cool. But you know what? To be honest with you, I never thought that always on was a make or break feature for myself, but I'm glad they have it, and I think it's pretty cool. Faster processor, faster charging time, longer battery, you know, things like that you always expect from upgrades, right? One thing I will say when testing the HR sensor of the new watch, it appears pretty accurate. It's been working really well with workouts compared to the Series 5. And I know a lot of people praise the HR in the Series 4, but I did have a lot of issues with it on my wrist. Those are issues I'm not having with the Series 6. So far, pretty happy. As far as workouts, yes, they added some new workouts, which is always expected. But, you know, I've always been able to customize workouts on Apple Watch anyway and add new ones. So this isn't a feature that's been too big for me. A feature that I'm really excited for is Fitness Plus. Now that's going to work on other watches. And what Fitness Plus is, if you're not familiar with it, Fitness Plus is their new workout series that's going to compete with the likes of Peloton and stuff. I'm excited because it's only going to be, I think they said $10 a month, which is pretty cool. And if you have the Apple Watch Series 6, 3 months for free. Other Apple users are going to get 1 month for free, but that saves you $20 compared to the other watches. So that's pretty nice. So you can almost think about that like a discount if you are really going to use that service. Another big feature, which is awesome, is the family setup all from one phone. That's super cool because finally, like, I have little kids, so those of you with little kids or elderly parents, that's what they're advertising it to, like elderly and kids. But kids are big for me because I have all these extra Apple Watches. So I can give one to my kids, set it up on my phone, and all of a sudden my kids have access to that, and they don't need to have their own phone and stuff like that because my kids don't. So I think that's cool. So those are the big things. Those are the big new features. So it is cool. It's the new latest and greatest. And Apple did release the SE, which is like a slim, basically, when I talk about, so they released two new watches, the 6 and the SE. The SE is basically an Apple Watch Series 4 without the EKG. At least that's what I'm getting. I don't have the SE to test out, so I have not been able to test it, but that's pretty much what I'm seeing. But I don't have that one, so I don't want to comment too much on it. All right, so let's talk about, is it worth upgrading? Is it worth upgrading? What are the big differences? Let's start with the Series 3, because a lot of people bought the Series 3 last year, and I don't really want to go to the prior models because there's just way too much difference. All right, so the difference between the Series 3 and the Series 6 is significant. Obviously, much faster, better battery, that kind of stuff as you would expect, but it's thinner. The Series 6 is thinner. The difference between the 3 and the 4 was a big upgrade. It was a big jump. They changed the heart rate sensor, and they added the EKG. So you're going to get a lot of new features. If you have the Series 3 and upgrade to the 6, you're going to get a lot of new cool features. So it's totally worth upgrading from the 3 to the 6. We're talking about a long time in technology, you know. So it is worth upgrading. All right. Is it worth upgrading from the 4 to the 6? This is a little trickier because you've got the EKG. You're going to have most of the features. I tested my Series 4 next to my Series 6. When I test them side by side, the 6 is way quicker. But if I wear my Series 4 for like half a day, it doesn't really seem any slower because I don't use it that much. And when I do use it, I don't mind like the 1 second lag there's no impact to me. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily worth upgrading for that. What is better on the Series 6 is that the always-on display, which I think is a big deal. So if you don't care too much about the always-on display and your Series 4 is trucking along right now, I think you could probably hold off another year. Unless you really want that always-on display, you really want the oxygen tracking, I think you're okay with your Series 4. Which leads me to the Series 5, where there's not many differences. Yes, it's faster. Yes, oxygen sensor on the Series 6, but not much of a difference in my opinion. I think you really don't need to upgrade. So I think the Series 4 is where that line is drawn, where maybe if you're on the fence, you might want to hold it another year, but I could also see you justifying the upgrade. Series 3, 100% upgrade. It's time. You probably should have upgraded to the 5. So 3 to 6, yes. 4 to 6, maybe. 5 to 6, I don't think you need to upgrade. I think you can wait till the 7. And I kind of am like that with the phones now too, where I don't necessarily need to upgrade it's more like every 2 to 3 that I'm upgrading, unless there's a significant feature. I don't think this was a significant bump. They did redo the HR system and stuff. So the HR, as I said, seems much improved from their other watches. So I'm very happy with that. It's very on par with my Garmin, and so I'm very happy about that. The oxygen thing is cool. So anyway, I'm excited about the Series 6. It's pretty cool watch. Glad to see Apple doing some neat stuff. I'm really excited to see Fitness Plus once it's released. So I'll do a review on that once it's released. Otherwise, hope y'all have a good day. Later.